Welcome to Chimphammer. This is the best war game ever made by me, Jonah Eads, as you can see by the title of my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be going over the basics of the game and how to play it, and by the end of this short video, you will be the world's best Chimphammer player, and you can tell people that I, Jonah Eads, creator of Chimphammer, have deigned you as the world's best player. A card has a few attributes on it. Firstly is the cost, up in the corner here, indicated by a little gold coin symbol. This one has a cost of 1, so this is what you use when you're building your deck or when you're drawing, and for some card effects. And then below that we have the defense. That is the number that a different unit needs to meet or beat to attack and deal damage. Below that is the movement. That's how many spaces this unit can move in one turn. Below that still is the hit points. This is how much damage this unit can take before it dies. Then if we go back up to the top with the little sword icon, that is the attack die. That is the die that this unit rolls when making attacks. So in this case it's a D6 or a 6-sided die. And then below that is the range. This is how many spaces out a unit can attack. So this is also sometimes referenced in effects by saying something like within range. And then below that is the damage. This unit deals 2 damage when it attacks and hits an enemy. And then up at the top we obviously have the name, Goblin Scoundrel. And at the bottom we have the effect. So this one, its effect is after this unit attacks an enemy unit, this unit may move 3 spaces. Normally a unit can't move after attacking, so this is an alright effect. And so when you first load into a game of Chimphammer, it'll look something like this. This may change as time goes on, but roughly it should be about the same. Down here I've put some of these at the center of every side here, as you can see, for each player. And then over here there's some dice to use. They're pretty big just so everyone can see the results. And then we have some terrain pieces, nothing's fancy, just some hexagonal tiles. And this drawn space here is the control point, but we'll get to that later. So down here what we want to focus on is the various sets of cards. There are currently 20 cards for each faction, with 4 copies of each. So what you would do when you're making a deck, let's say you want to play some dinosaurs, so you can just copy this, take it over here, and go through it and make your deck. And you can go through, alternatively you can just use the search function. This is what I would use. And then you can pull out up to 60 points worth of cards and put those in your deck. So dinosaurs are a pretty high cost deck, generally speaking. So, you know, if I used 4 of these, that would be my entire deck. Probably not very good. But you could technically do that. I would not recommend it though. But you just need to use 60 points or less worth of cards or units for your deck to be considered complete. You need at least 1. And then once you've got that all set, let's, for simplicity, let's just use this terrible deck of 4 15 cost units. This is my starting deck. Because that also leads me to the fact that every deck can only have up to 4 copies of any card. And then once you've got your deck laid out here, what we'll do is, once everyone's got their deck actually, not just you, you'll go over to your space here, and you'll pick out your starting army after you've figured out who goes first. So in this case, I actually would not be able to choose a starting army because I do not have any applicable cards. So I guess I should actually include 1 0-cost card to demonstrate that better. So let's pretend that I added this 0-cost card to my deck earlier. So this would be my starting army. And then we'll flip that over, even though we know what all those cards are because it's 4 of the same card. So this Micro Raptor is my starting army because I have to select up to 10 points worth of units to be my starting army. So once we figure out who goes first, let's say it's me because there's no one else here, this Microraptor will go into my deployment zone wherever I want to put it. Let's say I put it right here, and then after that we begin the game for real. So now it's the start of my turn. I draw one card and I flip it. I look at the cost. Does that meet or exceed 4? The answer is yes, by quite a lot. So that is where I stop drawing. If this was a 3 cost, for example, I would draw another card, and if it was still less than 4 total cost for every card I've drawn that turn, I would draw again until I meet or exceed 4. So with this, I can now decide if I want to deploy this card or not. This is considered to be in my reserves. So I'm actually going to delete this real quick. These don't need to be here. But this is considered to be in my reserves after I've drawn it from my deck. And now I can deploy it if I'd like to. I don't have to. The correct thing to do probably would be to deploy this here. Not necessarily there, but just wherever. And then from here I can move on to the fun part of my turn where I can move and attack. So to move a unit, it's pretty simple. It says this unit has 2 movements, so I can go 1, 2. That is its movement. This unit also has 2 movements, so I could go 1, 2. And that would be both of their movements. One thing to note, these cards are not sized in a way that makes a whole lot of sense with this hex grid board, but that is fine. Just ignore that. And then from here, if there was an enemy unit to attack here, I could attack it, but there's not, so I will cover attacking in just a moment. Alright, let's go over attacking real quick. So let's say that I am using an ape army, and I've got my Gigantopithecus right here, and my opponent has a chained giant. Pretty evenly matched units. You can see they have similar range, movement, hit points, and damage. What I would do here is, if I want to make an attack, I will be rolling a d10, as that is my unit, the Gigantopithecus's attack score, or attack die, as it's referenced in card text. So I take my my d10 here, and let's see what number I have to meet or beat. I need to meet or beat a 3 to hit this thing. So let's roll. Okay, that is a 10 on the die, so that means that I do hit my attack, and I do get to deal damage. So my Gigantopithecus deals 6 damage to this chained giant's 8 hit points, leaving it with 2 remaining hit points. A good way to track this that we usually use is just using a die. Very easy to use and keep track of. So d6 will work just as well as anything else, and then you can just set that to the number of remaining hit points. You don't have to do it this way, but it is very easy. And then from here, that is the end of what this unit can do. If your unit has an effect that lets it do something, you could use this now, but this one does not. I cannot move after this point unless my unit says that I can, but this one does not. And then I would go back and move any other units I have and attack with them if I would like to, but I do not have any others at this time. So, and then another thing to consider when talking about range and attacking, let's look at the 2 cards we have here, Archmage Fireballer and Chained Giant. Let's say Archmage Fireballer wants to attack Chained Giant. It has a range of 5. Chained Giant is within 5 spaces of Archmage Fireballer. However, there is terrain in the way, so this interrupts what we will call line of sight. Line of sight is usually determined by if you can draw a straight uninterrupted line to a unit from another unit. So we cannot, because there is terrain in the way. Line of sight is only interrupted by terrain. It's not interrupted by other units. So as long as you've got that in a straight line here, so if this was, for example, here, this would be within line of sight and within range, so you're good to attack it. I hope this video was informative for you for learning how to play Chimphammer, the best war game ever made by me, Jonah Eads. So if you have any questions on this, just let me know via the comments in the Steam Workshop for this on Tabletop Simulator, or in the comments of this video. I will respond to everything personally. You can email me if you can find my email. I'm not going to give it to you, but if you find it, I will respond there as well. Thanks. I love all of you dearly. Mwah.